Right, okay, so what I'm going to do is put this in here, mark where my hinges sit. So I know the hinges sit on the inside of that line. Everything under there and outside of there can be tapered off and lost. I don't need it. It's all work that's got to be done, so I've just got to get on with it. But once I've done this, then I'm down to a bit of fairing. I've just got to go over this into the corners by hand because I can't get the sander in there completely. A little bit of fairing compound over that, and this is all done. I don't want to take any more glass off. You know, that's the strength that I need to hold it all in place. I mean, that's now going absolutely nowhere. That is solid. So I'm well pleased. Right, let's get this knocked back. There's a little bit of hand sanding to do under there just to finish that off. So the further forward I get up the boat, the less room I've got to get under. I've got quite a lump under this one now. I knew it would be, and I knew it's going to be an absolute pain. If I had a nice little belt sander, would just go in there and nip that off, would be brilliant. But I haven't. It's almost worth buying one just for that. Okay, so I've got a bit bored sanding that lot. I've still got a little bit to finish underneath. So I've done a little bit under there, so it's nearly there now. I've not touched the others. Basically, they need sort of hand sanding or whatever underneath. I've just ordered a belt sander. So I've had a look, about 50 quid. There's some cheaper ones, 40 to 49 quid. Or a Black & Decker one for 51 quid. So I thought, well, I might as well just get the Black & Decker one rather than the Mickey Mouse make that I've never heard of. You know, and hopefully that's all right. Black & Decker usually make pretty good tools. So I've ordered me a belt sander, pack of belts, and we'll use that little finger sander to go under there and nib that all down. Hopefully that'll make quicker and easier work of it than me sitting there trying to sand it by hand. So I'm going to give up on these for now. You know, I've taken off a little bit off the top. This one I've still got a nib off underneath, but like I say, I'll wait till my other sander turns up and we'll crack them underneath with that. It will go under there. So that's going to take care of that. So what I've got to do is just flat these off on the front of there, knock that down, and I'm going to call that done for now. I'm not going to be able to do any more until I get that tool and I can finish them off, but I just can't see the point of me sitting there hand sanding them. I'm still going to have the same to do on the other side. I'm going to have to sort all that out. So, you know, I'll get the proper tool for it and we'll use that to crack on and move forward. It will make a lot lighter work of it anyway. Well, I'm just going to knock these two back on the face there and call that a day on that. And then I might do a little bit of sanding up above my head. Move that forward a little bit. Right, let's see if we can knock this down. Level it off with the surface. that should be pretty good. So I've sanded through until I've gone pretty much level on the surface with the original there, and you can just see me holes there where it was drilled. Now technically speaking, I should be, yeah, able to just push there, they're like thinner than paper, look. So there's me hole. I've sanded that right back so that I'm flush on the surface. So now the only thing I've got to do is dress up the edges and underneath. So obviously I need to swap the hinges back over onto the other cover for this one, because this one won't fit this hatch. Yeah, all the hatches are unique to their own hole. So this one won't quite go in, but it will still, however. Let me just see where that hinge is going to sit. So the holes on this hinge sit there. So that lines up there. So that looks like it's sitting nice and flush on there now. So if I line that up with the holes where it's going to bolt onto, I can see that underneath there can all be removed. So I can take that down. So there's quite a lump under there that can be taken off now. There's a huge lump underneath that I've got on there that's not needed. But I had to build it out to get that flat surface on the front. I needed to just bring that in there and get that surface flat for that hinge to sit on. It only needed a tiny bit at the bottom there, but in order to do that I had to build it all up, and I've got way too much on there, and it's a lot to sand down. It really is, especially if you're going to do it by hand. So there's the other one. So again, I can see where them holes are. They are literally just under the surface. So I can line up my hinge on that, and I can see that everything outside there can be removed. There we go. So I can run my sander over that and take off some of that excess under. There's a little bit more room under here for the sander. It fits in there almost flat, so I can get under this one. I can't get under at the front because of the hole, where the radius of the hole as it comes out stops me from getting under it. And I've just ordered a nice new finger sander, so little belt sander. So we'd like to use that and give that a try, but that'll be handy for the whole project really. Should have bought one sooner. Right, that's the worst of that off, so I've managed to take that down with a flat sander there. I've got a little bit underneath still needs removing, but again I can't quite get under there nicely with that sander, so I'm going to get my finger sander on there, the little belt sander, when that turns up, and finish them underneath. I can also use that to just dress these edges off, and we'll work this out so that it smooths out nicely so you can't see an edge there. You know, I want it to sit behind the hinge and not stand out like a sore thumb. Yeah, so I'll be happy with that. Once it's all painted, it'll blend in nicely. You won't see it so much. So, no, I'm really pleased. So we're nearly there with this side. I'll say this one's done. This one, that's near enough there now. That feels good on the front. I've got that little build up I need. I just need to remove the excess. Same on that side. We're level on the front. Remove the excess underneath. So new tool turning up soon, hopefully, and we'll crack on with that next time. We'll have a look and see how that works, but that should make life a lot easier, really, a lot easier. Right, I'm going to do a little bit of sanding over my head. I'm not going to film all that, I'm just going to be sanding down some filler. So and then maybe we'll hit this little bit there. I haven't got long, it's 9:30 now, so I'll be going home soon. But I've managed to do what I wanted today, and that's to get all that trimmed out, sanded down, and accepting the hatches and the hinges, you know. So I'll need a little bit of filler on there to just smooth the edges out. I might slap a bit of that on before I leave. We'll do that in a mug. I'm going to get a little bit of sanding done over my head, slap a bit of filler on there and then get out of here. I might slap the filler on first actually. Let's crack on with something. Alright, so I've mixed up some filler. I'm just going to fill this and put a bit in the ends just to build up the edge. Start to sand it next time I'm down. I don't need any major build up, but it's rather hard to get a thin layer exactly where you want it. Sometimes the finger swipe is the only way to go, yeah. Well, I'll leave that crowd on the surface there, I think, and we'll just sand that off. I'll make sure it's pressed back against the actual locker there, so that we don't get any air gaps between the sides that need refilling. That'll do, mate. That bit sticking out inside. Inside's hard to sand. Not any sticking out there. There we go. Right, one side done. I've got a nice little build there. I think again I'm going to leave that built up over the surface. I'm hoping not to have to address it anymore. Yeah, I just want to knock it back in one go really. So a bit more there. Press that down. So there we go. So hopefully next time I can just radius that off inside and that's done. Happy days. So when I sand that off, I might need to just take a little bit more off the front of that. We'll see, I'll work that out. A tiny bit of stuff left. I'll acetone this up. I'm just going to smear that in there. Use it up. And hopefully I can just sand that out then. As you can see, that's a real thin smear. You know, there's no build up there. I can still see through it. Just take out any imperfections there, and I'll sand that all flat, and that will take care of that. There's not enough filler that I'm going to worry about it breaking out any time. Right, so that for today is the lockers done. We've got a nice fill on there. Same on that end. So next time we come down, we can sand them. I can finish sanding those little hinge areas with the little belt sander when that turns up, and we'll get that done. Once that's finished, these lockers are all done inside and along the front face. All I've got to do is the underside there, glass it in, and that's not got to look quite so pretty. You know, it's obviously it's got to be stuck back, no air voids, but it's not got to look quite so pretty. You know, you're only going to see that if you're laying down going to sleep or something. You know, I've not got to be too fussy. I do want it to look nice. I don't want it to look stupid and horrible, but you know, it is just going to be underneath the lockers. Its purpose is just to tie it in so that they ain't going to move. Give it some rigidity under there, finish it off, and that's done. Then I can gel coat underneath and down to there and get that sort of finished. That's this side done then. You know, these lockers are finished, bar bolting in, you know, getting the actual covers fitted. But like I say, I can't get that done until I finish painting everything and finish painting the boat, so that they're not going to get ruined with gel coat dripping all over the hinges. Otherwise I'm going to have to buy more. But for now, like I say, that's them done. I'm going to crack on with this bit above my head, get this knocked back, and I think it's going to be time to get out of here. It's nearly 10 o'clock, so I'll get home to the family, and we'll call it a day.